I have another, under funding, where it says full funding of statewide reform initiatives. One of the things that I would like to say, and I'm not going to get the words right here, but I want us to think about, give us the money and let us decide how we spend it. Stop giving it with strings attached, the categoricals, you have to spend it this way, this way, this way. I'm not 100% sure that that sentence says that. I want us to urge to stop the categorical funding and maintain our local control.
I understand the point. It certainly makes sense to me. Do we have a language proposal, or would you like to bring the language proposal for that?
I could bring one.
May I ask that you do, just so we know exactly, because I get the concept, it makes good sense. Would you mind bringing it to the next meeting?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The next regular meeting,
regular study session, whatever you want.
Next time we get together, and yeah, I will do that.
Which subheading would that go under, Ms. Fellman?
Excuse me?
Which subheading do you think you put that language under?
The second bullet under school finance.
Okay.
And your sentence there may cover it. I just think we need to be stronger.
Okay, that's great.
Are there any other revisions that we want to discuss? Ms. Dahlkemper.
The other revision I'd like to point to is the section that was in the previous platform the board had approved about innovation, choice, and flexibility. And that had to do with modernizing. The legislature should consider proposals. We never say enact, but that the legislature should engage in conversation about proposals that modernize the school calendar to increase effective learning time during the school day or school year to ensure our kids are college and workforce ready, or for whatever path that they decide to choose after graduation. I think our agrarian calendar is far outdated, and we need to think more creatively about how we provide extended learning opportunities to our kids. I would love to see that language stay in.
Thank you, Ms. Dahlkemper, for that. And the spirit in which I was revising that was that I think it should not be a legislative issue. That should be a local board issue. So perhaps we could reinstate that language and just clarify that. Is that something that you could language for?
Sure, and I think if you could share with me what the pushback might be on just that simple wording at the very top that says, because I think this covers it, the legislature should consider proposals that, because we all know that the legislature enacts policies that have a profound effect on K-12 education, and I think that this is a key piece of the mix. So I would recommend keeping in that bullet, and I'm suggesting that the language leading into it covers that flexibility.
How about the legislature should consider proposals that allow districts to modernize the school calendar or the like?
We do that.
I would support the language Mr. Newkirk suggested, because it makes clear where the control is. Would you support that, Ms. Dahlkemper?
That's fine.
Right. Who makes the change on that then?
Okay. Would you like to move for that change? And I'll get it done.
Why don't you go ahead and propose the change that you recommended, which I think was just adding districts at the top of it.
Right, okay. I move that we restore the language Ms. Dahlkemper was referring to on bullet point number 1 and prepend the words allow districts to.
I second. Roll call.
Ms. Dahlkemper?
Yes.
Ms. Spellman?
Yes.
Mr. Newkirk?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Witt?
Yes. Ms. Feldman.
The last thing that I have on here is, and it kind of goes into the next one, it's whether or not we support Senate Bill 136. We have done as a school district lots of work on that, and what I would propose, rather than say let's support or oppose, let's monitor, let's watch, let's be able to play, let's get at the table so that we have a part to play. I would recommend that we monitor rather than...
That's the next agenda item, Ms. Feldman.
It's just on here, that's why.
Yeah, so I would move we strike the language, the last paragraph of this document altogether.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's great. Do we need to make a... So, I'm sorry, you made the motion? Second?
Yes.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Ms. Dahlkemper?
Yes.
Ms. Spellman?
Yes.
Mr. Newkirk?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
She said no.
No.
She said no.
Okay. Mr. Witt?
Yes.
I have one more on. I have one more on the first page, and this question is for Dr. Stevenson. This is the bullet, a simplicity draft a school finance act that is understandable by all stakeholders, and then there's some added language here, 2 pieces, fund students for the days they are enrolled, not based on a single day count. Stop funding phantom students and provide the funds to the district of enrollment. Dr. Stevenson, can you talk a little bit about the impact of including that language in our legislative platform and what it would mean for Jeffco kids and for funding issues?
One of the efforts in the legislature currently was one of the parts of Amendment 66, which was average daily attendance as opposed to the one-day count. So that is a bill in the legislature currently. I believe it's been introduced, Mr. Babbitt?
Yes.
Yes.
Bill 1139.
Yeah, right. So that is currently in there. So I have a feeling, I would predict that will get support in the legislature and we will move to that system. I'm hoping they'll fund it so that as we implement the system and have to have people to do the work, because we do believe it will be more expensive. I'm not sure what we mean by funding phantom students and provide the funds to the district of enrollment. We are audited every year by the state, and if a student is enrolled in 2 districts, one of the districts loses that student. So, and in fact, this year our audit is so clean that they owe us $80, and which is unheard of. So we are very, very clean. I don't know what a phantom student is, and the audit prohibits funding students to multiple districts.
Mr. Newkirk, would you like to clarify what phantom
Yes,
students means?
and I'm okay with striking that second sentence there, understanding that there is a bill pending in the legislature, and the first sentence there does address that.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion then to stop funding phantom students and that we strike this language. I'm sorry. Make a motion to strike the language, stop funding phantom students and provide the funds to the district of enrollment.
Second.
Roll call. Sorry.
Ms. Dahlkemper?
Yes.
Ms. Delman?
Yes.
Mr. Newkirk?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Witt?
Yes.
So I just have one question real quick. When are we going to talk about the negative factor?
If you'd like to make a motion, we'll entertain it.
I would move that we add the resolution I read previously into our legislative platform.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. I'll throw out just a bit of discussion here. I think we need to study the issue because I think it's more complex than just agreeing with Cassie. And for that reason, I will oppose that right now, only because I haven't had due consideration, not for any particular reason at this point. Any other discussion?
I think the negative factor is such an ethereal concept right now, unless I can get a Reader's Digest condensed version of it, maybe from Ms. Gillis, and to have a full understanding of that right now, I'm not prepared to take a firm stand on it until we really understand what the ramifications are of the negative factor and what, going forward, what the options are.
Ms. Gillis,
Ms. Sullivan?
I'm wondering if Ms. Gillis can tell us how much money we have lost in the last few years from the negative
We
factor?
lose approximately $98 million a year from the
so
negative factor. That
Well,
if we were fully funded, we would have an additional approximately $98 million more dollars.
But that doesn't answer the question of other impacts if the state were to eliminate the negative factor and understanding what those would be. But thank you for the clarification. I think roll call.
Ms. Dahlkemper?
Yes, I vote in favor of adding the negative factor language.
Ms. Delman?
Yes.
Mr. Newkirk?
No?
Ms. Williams?
No.
Mr. Witt?
No. Ms. Dahlkemper.
Thank you. I have a question on page 1. This is the second bullet after the one we dealt with just a second ago about funding students called urgency. Mr. Newkirk, I'm wondering if you could share a little bit more of your thinking here. It reads, as each student presumably has only 1 year in each grade, the legislature should maximize the allocation of dollars through the funding formula so that local school districts have as many resources each year as possible. The legislature should not collect tax dollars only to have them sit in a savings account. Rather, those funds should be allocated to the districts so that local boards can be sure they are serving student needs. Can you tell me more about not collecting tax dollars only to have them sit in a savings account? Is that a reference to reserves?
No, not Jefferson County reserves in particular. As I was reading through some of the legislation, it appeared to me, and anybody else weigh in on this please, that revenue would be collected but not distributed to the counties, to the districts. I would like to discourage that in the future, and that's why I put that language in there. But no, it was not referencing Jeffco reserves.
So it was referencing state reserve, the state pool that is not distributed.
Yes.
And since this is a legislative platform, that would make some sense.
And if we want to clarify that, I'm certainly open to adding additional language in there, appending it, or making sure that we know it does not refer to Jeffco reserves.
Okay, I appreciate the bullet, and I think I can work with you on the language up to a point, because I know that Jeffco was very thoughtful and conservative in terms of balancing all needs regarding the budget, and reserves are an important part of that conversation. And I think that's not only at the district level, but at the state level. And absolutely, we want to make sure that we get the dollars for our children. I wonder if we could tweak this to say, resources as possible. What if we were to stop, what if we deleted the second sentence? I'd like to make a motion to delete the second sentence. So we're still conveying the importance that they maximize the allocation of dollars through the funding formula so that local school districts have as many resources as possible each year.
So which sentence are you deleting?
I'm deleting the second sentence.
I'm sorry, can you read that sentence?
It's the sentence that we just discussed about not collecting taxpayer dollars only to have them sit in a savings account. I think the legislature needs the flexibility to deal with the overall budget, which affects K-12 education, and the reserve piece is a critical part of that conversation.
And I support that, Ms. Dahlkemper. As I'm reading this here, you see that I sometimes put my rationale in brackets, and I think this is one case where I was put the brackets around that last sentence, so thank you for picking that up. I'm fine with striking that sentence.
Okay. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to strike the second sentence in the urgency bullet.
Second.
Ms. Dahlkemper?
Yes.
Ms. Feldman?
Yes.
Mr. Newkirk?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Witt?
Yes.